We are at the miniature category, and there is a wall of miniature quilts here, and they are beautiful, such a big range. But we were really lucky just on the way down, carrying our camera and our lights. Who do we bump into but this young lady? Now, some of you will need to know who it is, but most of you do know Antari, even if only by name. Antari Foster, who has been a member of Quilters Question Time for quite some time and has had great success at the Festival of Quilts, winning 3 years in a row, didn't you?
Yes.
And with her very first quilt, she won a prize, and so she has learnt so much in all kinds of techniques, and she has put those to really good use in the work that she's done. And the first quilt of Antari's that we're going to show you is this little miniature, which is based on our Quilters Question Time miniature class and pattern. However, Antari, as always, has made it her own and done further work on it. So just tell what you did with this.
The log cabins is, as Philippa says, is based on the miniature class, and I did a little bit of changes here. That is using reverse applique method, and these small hearts and the circle, they're turn edge appliques. They're tiny, so I'm quite proud of those ones because they're quite a success. And this is actually silk embroidery, silk ribbon embroidery.
And on the edges you finished it with...
with a very tiny rickrack, and I think I need some work on that, actually.
No, absolutely beautiful, and I am the biggest rickrack fan. You know me, if I can get rickrack on something, I will. But let's not leave this category. We're going to move on and show you a couple more quilts in the miniature category. And here we are in front of another version of our Quilters Question Time miniature quilt class, and this one is Diane Willis. And Diane has won, you might have already seen it, Diane won the Thread Master category with beautiful quilt, lots of gorgeous hand stitching on it, and both of her quilts are blue, so blue is definitely her most favourite colour. And again, like Antari, she's done a lovely job of making this her own. So instead of doing the log cabin block in the corners, she has done a much more complex and stronger block, which really finishes the corners off beautifully. And then in terms of her applique, she has done alternative shapes, and she's added some beadwork in there, lots of gorgeous machine quilting. So another really beautiful individual interpretation of that particular design. We have one more miniature that we are going to show you. And the final quilt that we are just going to show you in this section of miniature quilts is the second quilt that Antari has entered into the show this year, 2024. And this is a whole cloth quilt, and I'm going to get Antari to chat a little bit about it. But the design is done by an American lady of Japanese heritage who's won multiple prizes in the States and also here actually at the Festival of Quilts. And when Antari pronounces her name, you might recognise it. And you obviously had contact with her, Antari.
Yes,
just tell everybody who she is.
Yeah, it's her name is Friedel, and I had the pleasure of meeting her last year here
right,
at the award ceremony, because she won the first prize in the miniature category last year. So I had a chat with her, and I bought her book.
I just need to get that. I don't have that book.
Yeah. And this is one of her quilts, and this is actually my very first miniature. So it was a practice piece, I only used very cheap material for it, and the backing is just scraps. And I didn't think of entering it, but Steve, my husband, and my daughter said, just enter it and see, how you do with it.
So it's a whole cloth quilt, so it is just a single piece of fabric. However, you've got trapunto in there.
Yes, I've got trapunto in it, yes.
So for those of you who are not sure, trapunto is extra wadding that gives a sculptural dimension to the work. And then you've got a limited colour range. Tell people about the thread you used, Antari.
Yes, I only used two types of threads. One is the 40 weight polyester thread, and then silk thread, 100 weight.
And then the
kimono
bobbin?
silk. Bobbin for the kimono silk I use the same.
Okay.
And for the 40 weight I used superior bottom line.
Bottom line,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, the quality of the work and the detail is exquisite, really well done. And the last thing I just want to finish off, Antari, please will you tell everybody about this gorgeous little textured piping that you've got there?
It is beaded piping, and this technique I learned from another American lady, Beth Ann Nemesh, and she's got her own thing. And basically, this is a string of beads, small beads, and I wrap it in fabric and then stitch one around it at a time. So, yes.
It's really pretty and really unusual, and it just enhances the edge perfectly. So, Antari, just as we stood here, people were coming up saying congratulations and how lovely it is, and it absolutely is.